What's up, and welcome to Nacho's Cafe. This is your boy Will, aka Nacho, and today is Talk About It Tuesday, where me and a guest will sit and talk about it, whatever it is, and that's what we'll be talking about. You ready? All right, what's up? What's up? It's your boy Will, aka Nacho, on the Nacho's Cafe, and our favorite Talk About It Tuesday. And today I have a special guest. His name is Art. And today we're going to be talking about mental awareness. And that's one of the topics I've been wanting to touch on. But when we were discussing just the actual topic itself, I was thinking like, oh, wow, you brought it to another level that I wasn't really thinking about. Because, I mean, it covers a lot because being mental aware, it tackles on a whole lot of elements in life, whether it's insecurity, whether it's where your mind is, so that it helps you push forward, or are you being your own enemy? There's a lot, and that's just two that I said, and there's a whole lot more. And through mental awareness, this is special to him because he's went through some things in his life where being mentally aware saved him. But it's not my story, it is his. And with further ado, here is Art.
Hey.
All right, so my first question to you is, why, when we were having our conversation about just the podcasting, why mental awareness? What does that mean to you?
I just feel like, honestly, when it comes to mental awareness, it's just not really talked about a lot. And a lot of people look at it as a sign of weakness. Some people actually do try to go out there and speak about it. People laugh. And I mean, it's not a laughing matter, you know. If you think about how many people in the world have dealt with it, it's a dangerous thing to deal with, you know. And if you don't have anybody to talk to or anybody that understands what you're going through, it's just a joke to them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at Mariah Carey, who's somebody who dealt with depression. Look at Pink, she dealt with depression. Christina Aguilera, amazing actor Robin Williams, sadly it took his life. The lead singer, oh my God, what's that band?
Linkin Park?
Yes, Linkin Park.
Yeah.
You know, after his best friend died, I believe that's like a month or 2 months later, he committed suicide because he was severely depressed over that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a very sad thing for people to have to go through. And again, if you've never been through it yourself, you don't understand what these people are going through.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with that with my brother, you know, or family members as well. Not just to put my brother as the outcast, but some people said it's all in your head. Pray about it. Well, I'm sorry, but praying didn't work for me, you know. Not to say that it doesn't work for other people who prayers works for them because, you know, their faith may be stronger than mine. But I'm just saying that in general, you know, it's not always just going to be a prayer thing that's going to fix everything.
Yeah, without the action either. You have to be doing something as well.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, I dealt with so much that added to that from second grade up until even when I was in college. 26 years old was the last time that I got bullied. And wow. I told a girl, and it was a girl, and she was tiny, and she was little. She was only, I think, like 19 at the time. She kept on messing with me, and I told her, leave me alone, or I'm going to slap the shit out of you.
Yeah.
This is in high school. You're not going to pick on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where she put her hands on my face, and I slapped the hell out of her. Not saying that it's okay, because it's not okay, but you can't provoke somebody and then, you know, not expect not to have anything happen.
Yeah.
And the only reason why it triggered me is because it took me back to being bullied. It took me back to a place where I was like, you know, I don't want to get depressed because I'm getting bullied now as an adult.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. You're in a different time in your life now. You know, you're not trying to relive that. And then this person hits you as a flashback of a very tragedy or moment in your life that kind of triggers this point of like, you know, it's like it takes your breath away, and you're not trying to have your breath taken away from a certain situation.
You're not, and you know, I mean, once you've overcome something, no matter what it is, some people overcome um, health issues, some overcome depression, some overcome domestic abuse. Once you overcome something, you don't ever want to be put back in that place. You know, for me, thankfully, I have not been on my medication for almost 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was on them for about 6 years, and I made it a point to get off it. You know,
And what was this medication for?
it was for depression, severe depression, and my depression was so severely bad where it was, I had so much suicidal tendencies. Um, I've been 5150 4 times. Started off when I was, I want to say, probably 7th grade.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's so young.
It's hard because, you don't expect to go through things like that, and kids can be cruel, and, it's just stuff you don't ever wish on anybody.
Exactly.
People hurt you, people make you feel like you're nothing at times, and even people that did that to me, I'm like, I pray you never have to go through this, or your kids, when, we get older and have kids.
Yeah.
It's just not, it's not cool.
It's
and,
not.
And for me, my psychologist told me, you'll always be on medication. And I looked at her straight in the eye and I said, I will not always be on medication. And I'm going to make sure of that. And you'll see me in 3 years. You're not going to hear from me again. She asked me, is that a threat to yourself? I said, I'm sorry, I'm not a hazard to myself. I just need the help. But I'll guarantee you I'm not going to be on this for the rest of my life.
That was conviction from inside.
Yeah, because I didn't like that somebody was telling me
Yeah.
this is going to be you for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
No, it's not, because you don't control my
Nobody.
emotions. You don't control my
That's
happiness.
right.
You don't control anything about me.
Nobody has that power
You know?
unless you give it to them.
Exactly. And that's what I was just going to say. Nobody has control over you unless you give them that power to control you.
Yeah.
And one day, I got fed up with just being on this damn pill. And it wasn't one, it was 2 pills, Zoloft and Wellbutrin. And I got tired of it. I got tired of being on a medication that somebody said, this is what you need to keep you alive. I was like, fuck this. Grabbed them, dumped them down the toilet, flushed them, and haven't been on them. Did I have withdrawals?
Of course.
I had withdrawals.
Not saying of course, but like I think when your body's getting so used to something and it's missing it, your body's kind of probably,
And I got a little shaky, and everybody reacts differently to medication. I got a little shaky. I got nauseous. I was getting headaches. I was getting anxiety. And, but I mean, I'm glad. I'm glad I did what I did.
Yeah.
I overcame it. I did something that I felt for myself was the best thing I could have done.
Mm-hmm. You saved yourself.
I did, and, not just me. And, the psychologist saved me, too, because she helped me get on this meds. She gave me the meds to help me get control of my emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does help. And I get it that a lot of people don't like to take medications. Like my brother, he's one of those that he will not. His son was just diagnosed with ADHD.
Mm.
And I tell my brother, you got to take him, Well, no, we're going to do this our way. We're going to do this our way. And I'm like, that's fine, do it your way. But if it gets to the point, remember what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever want to see your kid be 5150 because you're just being stubborn, because you don't agree with it. Doesn't mean he's going to have to be on it for the rest of his life. It just means it's giving him the push to make him feel better.
Mm-hmm. Even though they may not be crying out for help the way we're used to it, it's still a cry for help when you realize there's something, but you have to realize you're not in their shoes, So as a parent, I'm not a parent, but just as a parent, you got to listen to your child. Take a listen, or just, if they say you're diagnosed for something, then okay, what are some, cautions, or what are some steps to calm it down, or what can I do to not make it too major for my child?
Yeah.
Just some steps, not because we don't know it all. We don't all know it all, so we can't.
You don't, and like I said earlier, unless you've been through that, how can you tell somebody else what they're going through?
True.
Or why they're feeling the way
Yeah.
they do? My first suicide attempt, like I said, it was back in 7th grade. Came home, got bullied. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's funny because I've talked about it so much, and like it hasn't affected me in so many ways, but I guess because of the cause that we're doing now today, just to spread awareness. I don't know why it's getting to me, but it is. But I came home one day from just being bullied, and I said, fuck it. There was a bottle of Advil and some other medication that was in the cabinet, and I just grabbed it and took it. My mom comes home, sees me on the floor, had to rush me to the hospital, and she said that my stomach got pumped. They had to pump my stomach to get everything out.
How many pills were in there?
It was a brand new bottle. I mean, they come with how many pills? About 200 in each bottle or something like that.
Oof.
You know, it was rough. It was so rough. Like, I just didn't know what else to do.
When you cried out for help, was anybody listening? Or did you cry out for help?
I did, but you know, I don't know how many other cultures are, but when you're Hispanic, a lot of people take it as, get over it. Mm-hmm. You're just crying. You're crying for attention, pretty much. And, you know, back then I didn't know if that was right or wrong. I'm still a kid. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do, you know, once I'm done with homework, what I'm going to do to pretty much just be a kid.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Can I go outside and play? And, no, it was, I think once I told my mom, she really didn't care. She always had my brother in the same schools to protect me, but it's like protection can only go so far.
This is true.
You're not in my classes. You're older than me, you know. My brother's a year and a half older than me, so he couldn't always be there to protect me.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in the same school and you have younger kids and older kids. The younger ones take a separate recess or lunchtime than the older kids. And that's how our school was. So my brother couldn't always be there to protect me, and I just felt like, you know, there was really nobody that could help me. If I told the teachers, some teachers were assholes, where they just, oh, kids are kids. So is it just kids are kids when somebody dies?
Especially at that age, even younger.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, a couple of years ago, I heard a story about, no, I'd say probably about 2 years ago, I heard a story about a 7-year-old who came home and hung herself. 7? You're 7. What do you know about killing yourself at 7? You know, and it's devastating. And I cried when I saw that, because why couldn't somebody just help her?
Yeah.
You know, it's sad. Then as I got older and I started realizing more and more what this was, you know, my mom started taking me to therapy sessions and stuff. And, you know, a lot of stuff happened that I wasn't aware of myself. I was, but I wasn't, if that makes sense, because as a kid, you know something's going on, but you're not aware of the severity of it.
Yeah.
And so just talking to a therapist, everything came to light. My mom couldn't understand why I was so young and trying to just want to die. You know, she couldn't. Things came to light. You know, unfortunately, also another thing that didn't help me with depression was the fact that as a kid I was molested. You know, and that doesn't help the situation.
No, it doesn't. And I feel like those are sometimes demons that are very hard to move past.
They're very hard to move past. There was one particular incident that I went through, and for years, now I'm talking about 10, 15 years down the road, still couldn't sleep. Because every time I would go to sleep, it's like watching your favorite movie, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of horror movies, but this was one horror movie I just didn't want to watch anymore.
It was your own.
It was my own. It wouldn't let me get past it. And
how old were you when that started, if you don't mind me asking?
I was 5.
Oh.
I was 5 years old, and then it stopped when I was 15. And the few people that you expect to protect are the few people that hurt you the most. I come from a family of 8. Firstborn to my father, lastborn to my mother. And it was my mom's oldest son and her middle son who were some of the perpetrators that did it. And to me, I mean, they're dead to me because you're not family to me at that point. If you're willing to hurt your own siblings like that, you're not family.
No, you're not. You're just seen as a toy.
And I never understood, like, why do I hate life so much? Why am I at a point where the only thing I can find to fix it is just dying?
It's a cruel world at that age when you can't get no answers. You don't understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. You have these flashes that just haunt you and you can't escape it. And for a child who's maybe heard or just read a bottle just to escape something, you take that so you can get rid of the pain that you're consistently feeling
Yeah.
to get some type of peace. You know, there's people out there who do not know what it's like to be in your shoes, and they'll say, oh, suicide is a pity party or whatnot. But then
Yeah.
again, you got to think about, well, why did they do it? And what are they trying to escape?
And the sad part is that some people do speak out on it, and some people
And no one's listening.
and people just shrug it off. And then when something tragic happens, it's like, oh my God, why didn't I do this? Well, they did tell you.
Mhm.
You chose not to help.
Mm-hmm. Just because you're not in their shoes doesn't mean you can't listen. Because I feel like some people are always in denial and they're not going through what you're going through. They're like, no, that didn't happen. How can you tell me what happened to me?
You can't. Oh my God.
It's okay.
You can't sometimes. You can't. Sometimes I used to just sit back, and when something would happen, or if I got a thought, I would write it down. My brother would find my journal, go read it to my mom. My mom would get mad. Why? Why? Why this? Why that?
But that's how you're feeling.
Well, what does it matter? You're not
Yeah.
helping me. I've been telling you, Mom, I don't feel right. And you're not helping me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you expect me to get better if I'm not getting help?
Mm-hmm.
As I got older, I'm a huge fan of music. Love music. I'm sure a lot of people do. And the beauty about music is that it helps in so many ways. So many ways.
Mm-hmm.
It helps. People like Beyonce, people like Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Britney Spears. Who saved my life was Pink. Her music really saved my life. To listen to what she went through. And it's funny because every song that came out from her, I was going through something.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be child abuse, whether it be getting bullied, whether it be depression from a breakup or whatever, it helped me, and I mean, I wish I could meet her and just tell her what she means to me, She saved my life with her music. I go back and I read lyrics, and just reading lyrics, it makes me cry.
Now, does it make you relive or make you realize something you conquered?
It makes me feel like at that time I wasn't alone.
Mm-hmm.
And before it used to make me relive things that I didn't want to relive. But now when I look at it and I read lyrics, I'm like, yeah, I remember how you helped me with that song. I remember where I was. I remember thinking, you know what, fuck it, tonight I'm just going to kill myself. Tomorrow I'm just going to run in front of a train or something. And I would read her lyrics, I would listen to her music, and it stopped me.
Wow.
You know?
Thank you, Pink.
And that's the beauty of music. I mean, it helps, And you never think that, you think because you're famous, you have money, you don't go through these things. But they're human just like we are. They have their own demons, their own battles they're fighting.
Yeah.
And we have ours. And in so many ways, we're so much alike. The only difference is they have a talent that we don't have, and they're using that talent and making a living off it, and we have our own talents that we make a living with,
I could understand for some celebrities who have a heart, where it could be pressure because when you're so focused on the media's so focused on you, you're striving to forget that you're human, and you have to be perfect. And there's no such thing, but as a society, as we are fans or whatnot, there's only a few fans that appreciate them for what they're doing, but also forget that they are too human. If they one day just don't want to do the concert today, you have to remember they're also human. We have our ups and downs just like everybody else. There's no one better than or we all are human. We have feelings, and I appreciate the celebrities that have a heart and show that I'm human too. And so for her, she shows that she's human through her music, and it was speaking to you on a way where it's just like, thank you, like as if she was there with you talking.
That's exactly how I felt. Exactly how I felt. It didn't matter what I was listening to. She has a song. Um, it's called "The Great Escape," and when I heard that song, from my point of view, I thought it was a breakup song. I thought it was about, oh, I want you, I love you, don't leave me,
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
here.
yeah.
And one thing that I love about her, and I don't know how many other artists do this, and I'm sure there's a lot, but one thing that I love about her is that she's always said, I'm not going to tell you what my song was about because I want it to help you how it's going to fit you. And I ended up finding out that the song is actually about suicide. And that she wrote the song when she had a friend who was going through a hard time. And from just talking to that friend, this song came about. And it's called The Great Escape.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part in that song where she says, scared of the dark, but not if you're here with me. And I don't need a pill to make me numb. And I wrote the book already, but that chapter in my life will soon be done.
Wow.
And I'm not going to want you make that great escape.
Yeah.
And when I heard that song, I crumbled. I was already older. I wasn't battling this.
Yeah.
But I crumbled because I was like, wow, where was this song when I needed it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it came out years later.
Mm-hmm.
But it did make me think of what I was going through. And just that part right there, I'm not going to watch you make that great escape. I was like, man, if you were my friend, I would be in your arms right now thanking you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because just that small little verse right there saved somebody she was talking to, And made me feel like if I would have heard that, would have changed my mind. Like a lot of her songs have done.
Yeah. And that one was called The Great Escape?
The Great Escape. And she has many songs that talk about different things. And, again, music, you take it how it fits in your life.
Yeah.
One of the greatest movies that I've seen, and, I hear people that say different things about, different reviews about the movie. For me, I thought it was an amazingly well made, and it was remade 5 times. And this last time it was remade with Lady Gaga. A Star is Born.
I yet have seen it.
And I love that movie because it does touch bases on mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
The guy she falls in love in the movie ends up being severely depressed. His career is not kicking up anymore because now his girlfriend is the new star. She's, having her career. He's happy for her, but falls into depression because now they're focusing on her instead of focusing on him. And, sadly in the movie, he ends up taking his life.
Wow.
And that's something that she's always spoken about. Both her and Bradley Cooper have always said that movie was a great experience for both of them because not only did they get to work together, but also they focus on something that not a lot of people want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
You see all these movies, actions, horror films, comedy, but nobody wants to touch on a subject because it's frowned upon. And the fact that they did it and, it turned out to be amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is.
Wow. I know it's a touchy subject. I guess for me, I've never thought about taking my life. I just wanted to leave it somehow, I guess it could be the same way, but I never took any approaches. But, coming from like just being in 3rd grade, second too, being bullied, granted what they're bullying me about obviously is true now, but 3rd grade, what does a child know about when there was new students coming in? And I remember so vividly, like, be careful of that one because he's gay.
But how do kids know what that even is at
It
that
comes
age?
from
You
home,
know,
though.
it does.
That's from parenthood. Someone's talking about it. Someone's saying if that person isn't macho enough, they're gay, they're a fag, whatever the case
Mm-hmm.
is. I have been called that since freaking first grade, and even when I moved on to seventh and eighth grade, still some of the same people who used to bully me then, they would see me, fag, and it was just like, okay, I hope that makes you feel better, because I just stopped fighting people on like that's not true. I have a girlfriend, whatever. I fought it for a very long time, and it was always something that I guess it was something that I needed to get over or accept, but it took a long time. And then when I did, I found a peace inside me, but that's not on me. But just I guess the reason why I said it is just like these kids bullying you. Like, what do you know about that?
Yeah.
You're just wanting to attack somebody because they dress differently than you. I did nothing for you to say that, So it just amazing me. So like, bully is everywhere. It doesn't really have an age,
It doesn't.
and it's all about upbringing.
I mean, not too long ago, I just said bully doesn't have an age. Not too long ago, I was at the store and you see these two old couples. Well, they're not even a couple.
Uh-huh.
It was just two old ladies, and
Uh-huh.
they were fighting. And I'm like, how old are you? Don't speak because that's going to give you a heart attack. Like, just cut the shit out. You old.
Right.
But it really does not have an age.
Yeah.
And for me to go through all that made me decide on a career path. For the longest time, I didn't know what I want to be when I grew up.
Wow.
And even as an adult, I'm like, I want to change my life. I want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But what do I want to do? Thought about being a nurse. I couldn't pass the assessment test for that, so obviously that didn't happen for me.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I decided to go to school for was to be a social worker, and I'm still in school for that. And it was to be a social worker and work with foster kids.
Wow. That's pretty big.
I don't know what it's like to be a foster kid, but I kind of know what it's like not to be wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that my experiences can make one of them feel like, well, you know what, somebody actually cares about me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're depressed, come talk to me. You want to cuss, go ahead, let it all out. But once we do this, we're going to work on how we're going to change things for you to have a better outlook. And that's my goal with this career is I want to be that person that one kid can come up to me and be like, hey, I know I don't know you, but I don't know who else to talk to. Can you just listen? I'll listen, but at the end of the day, if there's something that I know I have to report, I'm going to have to report it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And even to the day I had my, about 3 years ago or so, my cousin's friend, she was going through depression really bad. And, they asked me, my aunt asked me, hey, can you talk to her? Because nobody else is going to be able to talk to her and get where she's coming from. Unless they've been there, you've been through that before. And, throughout the whole story, she told me she was depressed, that she wanted to kill herself. And one of the reasons why she was going through that is because somebody had raped her. And I told her, I was like, you got to tell your parents, you got to let people know, because this is somebody that doesn't belong out on the streets. This is somebody that needs to get caught. And I cried because it touched close to home when she was telling me. And I told her, like, it's okay, but just know that this is not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
She just kept on saying, like, I want to die, I want to die, I want to kill myself. Started yelling at me, saying, I just want to fucking kill myself. And I know I did the dumbest shit with grabbing a knife, and I just put it on the counter. I said, well, if you want to do it, do it. I said, people who want to kill themselves don't announce it. That's you crying for help and attention, because somebody who's going to do it, they're just going to do it. I was terrified when I did that, because I'm like, oh my God, this girl better not stab herself or something.
Like, you're like, assistant, sorry.
Right? But she cried, and it was a cry where, like, somebody just died. The way you see them dramatically in movies, that's how she started crying. My aunt came, and I was just hugging her and telling her it's okay. Like, we're going to get through this.
Wow.
And you're going to tell your mom, and, just tell her you need a therapist. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong. I don't mind going with you to your sessions. I can be in the room, I can wait in the lobby, but you need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And you can't talk to somebody that knows you because they're just going to look at you and be like,
Yeah.
get over it. You'll be fine. But again, if you ain't been through it, you don't know what that feels like. You don't know what that does to the mind. And it's. I just hope that, whoever's out there listening to your podcast and listening to this segment, that don't be afraid. You feel something, and if you know somebody that's coming off like they need some sort of help, or they're just not being themselves, don't hesitate to be a friend and just ask, hey, what's wrong? You okay? You want to go for a walk?
Yeah.
You want to talk?
Yeah.
Here's my number. Call me.
Yeah.
And I'm always like that with my friends because I know what it's like to be in a state of mind where nothing matters
Mm-hmm.
and nothing is important anymore, and the only thing that matters is you just not being around. And I've had dreams where I wonder, like, I've had dreams where in my dream, I'm dead. And we're at a funeral. My brother's there, my mother's there, my best friend Kevin, and my best friend Eva's there. And they're the only ones there. Nobody else showed up. And that was a recurring dream that I had often. And I always wondered, like, wow, is that how unimportant I am at times?
Wow.
And as an adult, that I'm not taking the medication anymore. I haven't had that dream anymore.
Really?
I haven't. And I don't know if there was me having it because I'm on medications, feeling like this is what my life has come down to.
Mm-hmm.
It's, yeah.
Wow. And it went away when you stopped taking it.
It went away when I stopped taking my meds. And I had to take not only meds for depression, I had to take meds for anxiety.
Ugh.
I had to take.
I can see how that would come up, from just. Oof.
I had to take meds to be able to sleep. Because going back to the dream of one particular incident, it's all I dreamt about. And so many nights, I just wanted to wake up and kill myself because I'm like, I can't.
You can't even sleep.
I can't even take this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't take it. I'm done.
Wow. Well, I'm so appreciative that these sources came to you to speak to your soul and that you chose to be here, because I believe that as ugly as some things happen in our lives, everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't wish any of that on anybody. And sometimes I hate saying that, everything happens for me, like, really? Why? But to conquer that says so much. And it's not easy, because when no one's listening, how can you turn to yourself to be a hero? How can you turn to yourself to save you? But yet, somehow, you did. You turned on that song because you chose to listen and heard the words, and it reached out to you. One of the things I do want to say to listeners out there, especially parents, you may have an opinion on how you raise your kids, but if a child goes to another source and says that they do feel like they were a foster kid, you have no right to say that I never treated you like that, or say, how can you say that? I will ask you, were you in your child's shoes? Because you have no idea what it's like to be in someone else's shoes. And if you do, you know what it's like that your child's going through, because it replays something that maybe you went through the same thing, but nobody was there. So you're thinking because you went through it, so does your child. Break the freaking curse and do something about it. Because if your child is crying out for help in a way that you don't think is crying out for help, or you think that you're second guessing your the way you raise your child, do something about it, because it's in your hands. They didn't choose to be here. You chose to have them. So act like you care. That's all I have to say.
And don't be mad if they go to somebody else.
Yeah, you can't, but learn. Hear something like, what did my child say? Don't be upset.
I get at the end of the day, you're still the parent.
Yeah.
I get that. But you also somehow you have to be a bit of a friend to a kid too, for them to feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
to be able to come and talk to you and tell you. One of the things why I'm so happy that I don't have kids, because I'm afraid that if I have kids and they went through that, I'd probably be in jail.
I would agree. I'd be the same way.
You're not gonna hurt my child.
Yeah.
And I've told my brother and my sisters too, if your kids ever go through that, don't let me find out. Because you guys know what I went through. You guys know what I dealt with. That's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. And I'm not going to stand up and just watch something happen and walk away. I'll put my life on a line for a child, because no child deserves to go through that. And if you know that your kid went to somebody else, don't be mad at them. Ask yourself, why didn't they come to me?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, and don't approach it as an attack. Approach it as being sincere. Like, why did you come to me? Well, you're my mom. You're my dad.
Yeah, at the end
Or
of the
maybe
day,
they're scared.
At the end of the day, you're still their parents, but you
Mm-hmm.
have to let them know it's okay to come and talk. Whether you like what you're hearing or not, be mad about it later.
Mm-hmm.
But at that given time, they're coming to you because they need you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And just embrace them. Because they probably need a hug that you probably haven't given them. And maybe you think it's in a certain way, but they need it. They need to be reminded that mom or dad does care. And they do love me. And they are listening. And I know there's some parents out there that are listening who would want their child to come, like, why didn't you come to me? There's a reason. Maybe they don't want to worry you. Because you'll be second guessing. Maybe you did a bad job on raising, and you didn't. You know, it's on both sides. But I think it just needs to be, don't be so hard on yourself. If you feel like you did a good job on raising your child, it really needs to be something in the middle. Just remind, like, hey, if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And it's not going to be an easy thing for a kid to talk to their parent. It's just a given. Because we already have our assumptions of what you're going to say. We already have our assumptions of how you're going to act. We already think that, and we just going to avoid it because we think you're not going to hear us. But when you give us those signs and we actually take that approach and test the waters and you actually come out differently, like, I mean, I'm guilty. I've had things with my mom, and I thought she was going to respond in this kind of way, and she didn't. I'm just like...
And those are the best moments,
Yeah.
you know, because you're able to go and talk to your parent.
Yeah.
And you expect them to react a certain way because, like you just said,
Yeah.
I know you, this is how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And then when they surprise you with
Yeah.
something that's not what you
Yeah.
thought, it's like, wait a minute, where's my mom? Where's
Yeah,
my dad?
yeah.
Because you're
No.
not that person right now.
Exactly. I just got chills, but exactly. Because honestly, that's how it was, because I assumed my mom was a certain way, very strong, independent woman, and now we have this great relationship where we can talk to each other.
And that's how me and my mom are right now. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have the greatest relationship
Mm-hmm.
because of circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, you look at me and my mom, we joke around,
Mm-hmm.
we talk to each other. I battled cancer, and that didn't help being depressed,
Oof.
you know. So for me, it's like, my mom would come up to me, hey, are you okay? Hey, do you need anything? And I told my mom, like, Mom, I get it, you're my mom, and I get it, you worry. I said, but worry when you see me feeling down. Worry when you don't see me being me. You know, if you see me just in bed all day long and you see me doing this and doing that, and it's not the norm, worry then. Don't worry when I'm fine. Don't worry for me when I'm fine. Worry when I'm not fine, when you know, oh shit, something's wrong with you.
Well, maybe she thought that you're putting up a front.
But I wasn't putting up a front.
Not
That's
that you
the
were,
thing.
but but
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it from both angles. You know, still just want to make sure you're up. So I want to make sure you're still up. You know, you want to
Yeah.
check in every now and then, because sometimes we miss those moments where you really do need the help.
And I didn't tell my mom that I was battling cancer for the longest time. I didn't, because I didn't want her to
'Cause,
worry.
yeah,
You know, and
that's like a death
she found
sentence.
out a week before my brother got married, just like my brother did. And I didn't want to tell anybody because at the same time, I didn't even want to go get my results, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And when my mom finally found out, well, she heard through the grapevine that, you know, I have cancer. And she asked me, and I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, well, when did you go for your last follow-up or your last checkup on that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I went a couple months ago. So what happened? I don't know. I never went and got the results. Why not? Because I don't want to know. And this was already the third time I had came back, you know, and yeah, I fell into a big depression. Started drinking a lot.
Of course.
My mom asked me, "Okay, you're being an alcoholic. Like, what's up? Because you drink, but you don't drink like this."
Yeah.
And I opened up and I told her, "I'm scared. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do." And if it wasn't for my brother coming over with the kids, I don't think I would have gone back.
Wow. What happened?
The kids came in. They came in, and my goddaughter, my godson, the minute they opened the door, "Uncle Art, we missed you. I love you, Uncle Art. Can we go play outside? I just want to spend time with you." And I'm like, "You little shits." Like, I hate you right now, but I love you because you don't know what you're doing to me.
Yeah.
You know, and if it wasn't for that day, I probably wouldn't have fought it. I probably wouldn't be here. And this time it's not going to be because of depression or mental illness. This time it's a health thing.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for them, I would not have probably been here right now.
Yeah.
You know, they're my little angels. And, I mean, I love these kids. They're my world.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be the closest I ever come to having kids,
Yeah.
you know? But if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here.
Wow. It's just amazing how these elements in life is like just saying that you still got it.
Yeah.
You know, it's don't give up in a sense, like little whispers, you know, it's just like, and it comes in forms that we least expect it.
Right now that
You were thinking mom's going to do it or, oh, your best friend's going to do it, you know, regardless of what they did. But I think it comes in ways that we know.
Right now when you said that passion, you know,
Yeah.
it made me think of something. And again, it goes back to Pink. It's a part of her lyrics that she did. She says, "Don't lose the passion or the fighter inside you."
There it is.
And when I was battling, when I was going through cancer the second time around, I heard that and heard one of her songs. And I'm at the doctor's office, you know, checking my, you know, how everything is supposed to progress on this whole thing. Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Can we schedule surgery to remove it? You know, am I going to be on remission? Like, what's going to happen?
Now, did you have to go through chemo?
I did end up getting radiation, so I did lose my hair. I did get burnt, and, you know, I did get rid of all my pictures because I didn't want to remember that. And a lot of people ask me, "Well, I don't believe you." That's fine. Don't believe me. I don't care.
Right.
If you weren't around then and you're barely around now, what makes you think you're going to be around in the future to know if it ever comes back or not? Don't worry about it. You don't know me. You don't know my battle. You don't get to say that.
Yeah.
You don't get to do that.
That's not your
You're
fight.
not there.
Yeah,
and it was tough. The last time around, I was put on a medication because I told them I'm not doing radiation. I'm not doing chemo. And they put me on a pill that pretty much does the same effect. It takes longer, of course, but it did the same effect. And I said, I'm not going to do it. If you're going to give me radiation and chemo, you're just going to kill me off now. Don't treat me at all.
Right.
Because I'm not going through all that. And, you know, in January, I ended up going for surgery, and we were able to do surgery, and then we got rid of it, you know? And, I mean, they said you don't got to worry about it for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully I never have to get it back. And but finding that out was tough, you know? And that brought depression back. Yeah, man.
It's like, it's when it rains, it pours. I hate saying that, but I'm just saying, like, just for you, you're an example of that. Like, when it rains, it pours. And
at that time, I was going through not just that, but there's, like, other things going on in my life that it does pour. It does pour when it rains.
Like, it all comes
There's
down.
There's a fucking hurricane coming on you.
Yeah.
And it was tough. It was really, really tough. And I've had a lot of people ask me, like, why do you have this exterior on you? Like, you come off like you're just this little badass, and it's like, I'm not just a badass, though. I mean, I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned to be this way because I just got tired of people trying to tell me how to live life. I got tired of being down on myself. And if I have to be tough on other people to earn that respect, then I'm going to be that person. You know, not saying that I'm fake or putting this facade out there that I'm a different person, but I'm not. You know, I'm still the same old person. But if you're going to be disrespectful and you're going to come at me wrong, I'm not going to be that nice person. I've been through hell already.
Yeah.
You know, I have.
And back.
You're not going to put me back over there.
Exactly.
I can give you respect. I can talk to you respectfully, you know. But if you want to come for me, like, it's not going to be pretty because you're going to go see a whole side of me that you're not going to like. And if you say, well, Art's an asshole, but what did you do for me to be an asshole? I'm not just an asshole.
Right.
No, I'm not going to be disrespectful. I'm not going to mistreat you just because I'm bored and I have nothing else to do. I'm not like that. You know, that's not me, and that's not how I was raised. That's not how I am. You have to do something. I mean, what they say, every time you point one finger, how many fingers are pointing back at you? 3. So don't point fingers and say,
point the finger at yourself.
right. Say, ask yourself, what did you do for me to be like that with me?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
But I mean, I hope this helps somebody.
It will, because it did for me, and for just listening, because I mean, I've been through life, but I haven't been through a life like that, and it helps me appreciate life, and it helps me feel good about what I'm doing here, because I don't want to say that's my ultimate goal, but it really is, because someone out there, I don't care if it's one person in the whole entire world that hears this, but that saves somebody. Yeah. Just like I hate the fact that we're all isolated and you have to cover your face, because a smile does so much.
It does.
And it can save someone's life. You don't know what anybody's going through. And I want to go back on, even when you're saying, you know, the girl who was bullying you and you were in your 20s, you just need to watch what you're saying to people, because, I mean, as mean as it sounds, she deserved it, because I'm just saying, you gotta watch what you say. You don't know what the next person is going through at that moment in their life. You don't even know if that person has a gun, and you already want to bully that person. Bam, there goes your life. Whose fault was that? Because you didn't think about what came out of your mouth. You just lost your life over that.
And it's sad because, like, even in school too nowadays, kids get bullied. And look at all these school shootings that went on a couple years ago. Within the last 5 years, how many school shootings have there been?
And there's always signs. But when you want to turn your eye,
bullied.
This is what happens.
You know, I'm not going to lie. Luckily for my family, we don't keep guns in the house.
Good.
I'm not going to lie, though. I've thought about going to my dad's house, stealing one of his guns, and shooting at my damn school because I got tired of fucking being bullied. I'm battling major shit, and you're going to come for me like that? And that was my way of just being, this is going to end now.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm so grateful that we don't own guns in my house, because I could have been one of that person. And then people are going to be like, well, he was crazy.
Of course, saying everything you do, but still don't know what's going on. Exactly, you know? Exactly.
And I'm grateful, and I'm glad that I didn't take that dumbass mistake of ever getting to that point.
Yeah.
But was it a thought? Definitely, it was a thought.
Yeah.
Because I got tired of it. You know, and then parents want to now be like, oh, my kid. But you're not listening when your kid is trying to be your kid. Yeah. Listen. Hear them out.
If they're being bullied at school, don't assume that, well, that's not true. The kids will be kids. And, you know, at the school, question it. And if you have a child that you raised a liar, then go and maybe observe. I'm sure you can go on the campus and watch your child. My mom did it. So, I mean, if you really, really care, you know, show up and show your child that you're watching. I'm watching whether you're lying or not. But if you're telling the truth, I'm going to find this out. Don't just be like, it's just school, baby. It's just kids being kids. No. I was in 3rd grade. He was just, it doesn't, there is no age. There is no age.
Yeah, for me, the bullying started in 2nd grade.
See? So you cannot say kids will be kids. What is wrong with the kid bullying another kid about something?
I mean, what's right with that? It's not what's wrong, but what's right with that?
That's what I'm sorry. I said the wrong word, but...
Yeah, but I mean, I got what you were saying, you know? And I'm sure everybody did, too. It's ridiculous. Like, my best friend got bullied, too. This was around the time that we met. I met my best friend about 25 years ago, 7th grade. Damn, I'm old. And so, you know, he went home and told his mom, she crazy. Okay? But she didn't do nothing about it. And not because she didn't want to, but because when Grandma found out, she used to work for the post office. And she would say, from this time to this time, I need to be off work because I have something I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they granted it for her.
Mm-hmm.
Would she tell him she had to do? I don't know, but they granted it. And who became the new aide? Grandma did. You're not going to fuck with my grandkid, you know?
Right.
And she told him, you can talk to me. Do not call me Grandma. Call me by the last name.
Wow.
And sure enough, he never got bullied again.
Good.
And I'm not saying every parent needs to do that or every family member needs to do that, but that was her way of solving that problem.
Mm-hmm.
She heard about it. She didn't want him getting bullied.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want him getting in trouble into any fights. She went and became the noon aide. Monday through Friday, for an hour, 2 hours, she was the noon aide. And that's when I met him.
Yeah.
Around that time, and he's one person that I'm very grateful to have in my life, along with my best friend Eva.
Mm-hmm.
And if people say, well, how many best friends do you have? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter how many you have. We have a group of 5 people, and I call them all my best friends. We take vacations together every year.
That's awesome.
And honestly, if it wasn't for these people in my life, I probably wouldn't be where I'm at right now. They listen. They're there for me, whether they agree with it or not.
Yeah.
They help me fight depression. They help me fight through cancer. They help me fight through my bad days. They're there to celebrate my good days. They're there to celebrate when I've done something good for myself. I mean, come on, I bought my very first brand new car. And this was a couple years ago. What did we do? I picked them all up. We went and had dinner. We celebrated. I got my old car. We celebrate the smallest things. Why? Because this is our family.
Yeah.
This is what we do for each other. And I let go of a lot of people in my life because I'm not going to surround myself with so much negativity. I already dealt with a lot of that growing up. And I don't want to have it in my life as an adult. And I get it. We all have good days, bad days, and you're always going to come around negativity. But going through everything I've gone through, somebody asked me, how do you look at things and be so positive about things a lot? Because you've been through enough bullshit that everything that happens, no matter how tragic it is, you have to find something positive out of it.
I feel like you gotta figure out when enough is enough.
And for my uncle, like when my uncle passed away, it was devastating. He was like a father figure. And it was hard to have to say goodbye to him like that, And the only positive thing I can find from that was you're not suffering anymore. Now you can finally rest in peace.
Yeah.
I miss him dearly.
What did you guys do together the whole time?
We didn't have to do anything. That's the thing.
Just being around each other.
Just being around each other.
That's
I
good
didn't have my
company.
dad around me growing up.
Uh-huh.
And even when I came out to my family, I was about 20, 21.
Uh-huh.
I did the mistake of telling one of my aunts who has a big mouth and
I was
went and
gonna say,
told
like,
everybody.
that
Then when my uncle found out, and our conversation was in Spanish, but to translate it in English, he came up to me, he goes, hey, Art, I have a question for you. Are you a fag or what? And I'm looking at him like,
excuse me?
are you for fucking real, dude? And I'm like, did you really just ask me I mean, no, you're not wrong, but I mean, you could have asked it nicer. And I thought he was just going to be like, I don't want you around me.
Yeah.
This and that, be so negative. Because being Hispanic, they have that machismo going around. And, you got to be a man's man, You can't be a feminine dude. And I'm not. And a lot of people, as far as I know, it's me and my cousin. We're the 2 gay ones in the family. Mm-hmm. But you look at my cousin, and you see a walking rainbow. But then you look at me, and my whole family's like, unless you really talk, you really can't tell you're gay.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's just me. I'm not into the whole feminine thing.
Yeah.
I'm not into wanting to be a woman. I'm not wanting to dress up like a woman. That's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And if that's your thing, hey, by all means, you do you. Whatever makes you happy, you flare that shit out, Be you. Be happy. Do what makes you happy because nobody else matters. Exactly. And for him, he told me, he's like, well, I don't like it, but you're my nephew, and I love you. And if somebody fucks with you, they're fucking with the wrong people. And I'm like, well, thank you. He's like, if you ever want to talk, even though I don't know what it's like to be in your shoes and date somebody of the same sex, but I'm all ears for you.
That's huge.
You know? And he didn't agree with it,
Yeah.
but he never put me down for it.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're willing, you're not homophobic, you don't like that lifestyle, but you're willing to...
You put yourself aside.
To put your differences to the side and be able to be a father to me, and you're not even my father, you know? You're my uncle. Yeah. That meant a lot. And when he found out I was going through depression, I was over at my aunt's house, and, you know, he came and he's like, hey, what's wrong? Like, you're not being your cheerful self. I'm like, I was never cheerful. I pretended to be happy because I didn't want you guys knowing what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, what's wrong? Opened the doors, told him everything. We... Not saying that it's okay for an adult to buy a child a drink, but
he went, like, please.
He went and he bought 2 beers and we went to the park, and, you know, he's like, I was like, no, I'm not old enough. He goes, fuck that. You're with me. We're going to talk. So what's going on? Why are you feeling this way? Do you want to hurt yourself? And I told him at times I do. At times I don't want to be alive. This is a man I've never seen cry before in my life. Gave me the tightest hug. And he told me, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this because you're important and you matter. And just because people don't make you feel that way, you know you matter to us. This is family. We don't do that to each other. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care how you're feeling or how bad life is. Don't ever take your life, please. He helped. You know, and it's sad because I never thought I would hear that from somebody, just anybody in my family, that I mattered, because I didn't feel like it, you know? I really never felt like I mattered. Yeah. And even when people try to show me, I couldn't accept it, because I've been through so much that at this point it's like, why are you here? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I felt like I was meant to be a punching bag for everybody to throw jabs at. And that's what was pushing me over the ledge. It was. And, you know, on my Instagram, which I'm not going to give it out because I only keep personal, you know, family and close friends on my social media. But on my Instagram, every time there's some type of awareness, especially when it comes to mental illness, I did a post where I had Robin Williams, you know, and it's pretty much just saying, if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. And my brother seen it, sends me a big ass message. What the fuck is wrong with you? You know, we're the blank family. This is not what we deal with. We're stronger than this. Why are you thinking stupid? And I'm like, did you read what that post said?
Right. Don't jump.
I'm not depressed, bro. Yeah. Like, I haven't been on my meds in like 2 years at this point. I'm not depressed. I'm feeling fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I said, but you need to watch how you talk. Yeah. Because had I been back in those days, that would have made me want to kill myself.
What did he say?
He's like, well, you shouldn't be thinking. I said, read the post. The post is talking about mental illness awareness. If you're depressed or you know somebody, guide them in the right direction. Yeah. But you would have guided me to want to kill myself. That's what you would have done. He's like, don't tell me that. Hey, I'm telling you what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat shit with you.
Yeah.
What you did, how you responded to that, if I was in a weak state of mind, I wouldn't be here right now because of you, so thank you for that. Wow. He tried to make it seem like it was my fault. No, it's not my fault. You did not read the thing right. If you look at a bunch of my social media stuff, especially on Instagram, a lot of it has quotes, because I used to put a lot of quotes on there. One quote will make you feel better. And I actually became friends with somebody who, ironically, is a friend of a close friend of mine. And I went into this bar. There's a bar where I'm from, the next city over, and it's called The Hookup. No, it's not a sexual thing. Just clarifying that. But it's called The Hookup. It's a small little hole in the wall. And me and my friends go there. You know, we go there for karaoke nights on Wednesdays, but thanks quarantine for messing that up. And, you know, we would go every Sunday and just get together and we drink. And, I mean, I Uber there all the time because I'm not trying to get a DUI, but You know, we Uber, we get there, we drink, and then we go bar hopping. There's two bars right across the way from each other. So we would bar hop. They're back, and then we just end up at the hookup, you know? And my friend Danny, he goes, hey, I want to introduce you to my friend Henry. And I'm like, why does that sound so familiar?
Yeah.
And he's, are you the one that's always posting those quotes? And I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, I've seen them, and I don't know how you popped up on my feed, but you popped up, and there's been a couple of them that made me feel better. And I'm like, well, keep reading, because I'm always going to try to find. I haven't posted in a while just because social media has really turned a whole different direction, you know, and I try not to really be on it as much, but during quarantine, there's nothing else to do but to go on there, and I still haven't posted anything, you know, but I used to try to find a good quote that had to do with either depression, had to do with suicide, had to do with domestic violence, but I try to find a good quote that would be positive. Because if somebody sees it, I hope it helped you. And he told me that. He's like, you know, you posted two not too long ago that I read, and I was like, wow, I really needed this today. And people have done that too, and I'm reading just through feeds and stuff, and I see something, I'm like, man, I'm gonna steal this because I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna save it. Yeah. And when I was at my office job, I actually used that particular quote and I put it as my screensaver. And somebody asked you, why do you have that? I said, well, read it and then you tell me what it does for you. Because if it doesn't do anything for you, then you obviously didn't need to hear it.
Exactly.
But I was in a point in my life where I was still battling in and out depression. Mm-hmm. But I was going through a breakup. I lost my godmother. I lost friendships. And I was really feeling like, here we go again.
Yeah.
And at that time, I had only been off my meds for maybe about a year. And I'm like, wow, this is what it comes back to. Now I got to go back on this shit again.
Right.
Now I got to battle this thing all over again. I didn't want to. So, yeah, I went back on my medication. Only for a month, 2 months to help me get through that time. That so much was coming on me. After that, I got rid of it again. My therapist was like, told you would be on it. I said, no, you don't understand. I just need to push for now, but you're not going to see me again.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, it's been, 4 or 5 years I haven't been on my meds?
I just love that because I'm a very firm believer. I'm spiritual, but I'm a firm believer when you speak something to existence like that with such conviction, you're claiming over your life that this is what's going to happen. Because people think they know it all, and they see someone, oh, there's no hope for him. You know what I mean? And I'm sure maybe that's what they like. If you're going to be on it, like, I want to punch that person in the face. You know,
I did.
Because who are you to say that, you know, over someone's life? And I can only imagine how many people have heard that and never got over it.
Yeah, one of the sessions that I went to, because I used to go to a group meeting, and it was with Kaiser, because I had Kaiser at the time. And I swear to God, when I went in, I'm like, fuck, am I at an AA meeting or something? Because you had a big group, but it was group therapy. And I had a whole misconception of this, that it was going to become something completely different. Every day we start off, you want to talk today? Yes. Okay, you spoke. And if nobody else wanted to talk, you can go longer. But if there's more than one person who wanted to talk, we'd give you 15 minutes each person. You know? Yeah. Everybody needed time to talk. Sometimes it'd go longer if we had to. If not, we would just start off the next session. And I used to go, I think, twice a week. And so on one of the sessions that I had, I was reliving this one particular incident that I just couldn't.
It was hard.
It was really hard. It was really hard because at that time, it was when I was barely being put on my medication. And one of the topics was me having an issue with my mom. Because sometimes she knew she didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. And that's the worst, you know. That's the worst, you know, that you told an adult. Not just any adult, but your parent.
Yeah.
And they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And the therapist we had that day, she goes, well, you know what? Art, you're 13. How old are you? I said, it's been 13 years since I had to relive that moment. And not because it happened again, but because I had a flashback. So it doesn't matter how fucking old I am at this point. You're a therapist, you're supposed to do your damn job, and that's help. I said, fuck you, I'm done with you. I got up, I stormed out, and then the person who was in charge of that, of setting those groups up, asked me, can I speak to you? I said, I'll speak to you, but I don't want that bitch around me. What happened? Because she was like, you just need to get over it. And I told that therapist, I was like, how does she have a job here?
Right.
We're all here because we're suicidal. We want to kill people. We want to kill ourselves. And this is the help we're getting? This is what I'm paying for? I don't want to be in her class anymore. I don't. And I will be calling corporate. And I will call whoever I need to call to get her ass out of here. I said, that is not how you help. So the following class, we're in there. She's like, Art, can I talk? I said, no, you can just shut the fuck up because I'm not talking to you. And everybody was looking at me like, oh, damn, like she really pushes buttons. Because one girl, I used to work with her. And she didn't know nothing of what was going on, but she was there because she ended up finding out that her son ended up getting molested at a camping trip. And it was the neighbor's teenager who did it. And so I felt, for her. Her son was only 10 at the time. But I understood that feeling, And she said that she was so depressed over it because she wanted to go over there. She wanted to kick his ass. She wanted to do this, but she can't hurt a minor.
Yeah.
And she's more concerned of wanting to be there for her kid.
Yeah.
And even she was just like, how can she say that to you in group? Like, I don't understand. How are you a therapist? And you tell somebody, well, you just got to get over it because you're an adult now.
That doesn't...
I don't care. Like, you're not in here, You're not in here seeing what's going. When I close my eyes, this wants to kill.
Yeah.
Whether it be somebody else, whether it be the perpetrators, whether it be whatever, but it wants to die. And it's going to kill somebody. Whether it be myself or whether it be that. And I couldn't, I'm just so grateful I never harmed anybody.
Yeah.
But there's so many chances as a kid dealing with depression, how hard it was. Like, I ran in front of cars. And luckily no car ever hit me. And I was mad. Why'd you stop? And they're like, what the hell's wrong with you, kid? But it's like, it was so bad.
Jeez.
It was so bad. I had a friend where I live now, around the corner, down the street, about 2 blocks away, we have railroad tracks. And when we were in high school, she ran into the train. Her mom came over the next day, and she was like, hey, I just need to talk to you. And I'm like, what's wrong? And I already knew. And it was all because she was a lesbian, and her family didn't accept it. And she goes, well, we're going to talk about Melissa. Like, what's wrong with Melissa? Is she okay? She killed herself. She ran into the train. I flipped my shit. I lost it. I let her have it. She killed herself because you guys didn't accept it. You guys didn't want her to be a lesbian. You did it. She didn't kill herself. You killed her.
Oof.
Fell into depression again. Even harder. This is one of my closest friends. She didn't kill herself. You killed her. You did bad parenting. You didn't have to like it, but find ways to cope with it. And my brother asked me one day, he's like, hey, if you had kids and your kid was gay, how would you feel about that? I said, I would never want any of my kids to go through what I went through. Would I be a hypocrite and treat him like shit because he or she was? No, I wouldn't. I'm going to accept it. It's my kid. But I know what all that does and how cruel people can be. That's a circle that never ends. And do I want that? No, I don't. If I can take every kid's pain away and all those emotions, I'm pretty much be an empath, I would do it. Why? So they don't have to go through what I already went through. And that's the sad part, that people don't realize how cruel mental illness can be, how cruel It is. I mean, I always one of my tattoos that I want to get is the hazard sign. And a funny story about that was when I wanted to get it, people were telling me like, "Oh, why would you get that? Do you know what that means?" And I'm like, "It's a hazard sign."
Yeah.
But why? Because I'm a hazard to myself. Or at least I used to be. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but people that have that, it's because most people that have it is because they're HIV positive. I'm like, well, I'm not. And if you are, I hope you're taking care of yourself now, but I'm not.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, but that's what that's going to promote. I said, no. And at the time, I cared so much what people said.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
So I never got it. But the reason why I was getting it is a Pink song. The song is called Don't Let Me Get Me.
Oh, okay.
And she says, I'm a hazard to myself. Don't let me get me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's playing in my head right now.
And I love her. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was going through major depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I have cuts on my body, on my arms, on my legs. But when I used to cut myself, because I got so frustrated I couldn't talk to somebody. And when I did, it felt like nobody gave a shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to Pink, and this is off her Misunderstood album, second album she made. And for me, listening to that song, I was like, I really am a hazard to myself. Bad. But to me, that little part, what it means to me is that just because life gets hard doesn't mean you give up. You gotta get up and try. Get up and try to get yourself back together. That's all you gotta do, just get up and try.
Yeah.
I read that, I saw that, I heard it, and I'm like, wow, girl, you're very good.
Yeah.
And I'm in a much better state of mind.
Yeah.
You gotta get up and try.
And the thing that sticks out to me is get up. For me, like, that's just a big thing for me, because no matter what's going on, get up.
There's nothing wrong with being down.
No.
Just get up.
But because where there's a down, there's an up.
What goes up must come down. What goes down
is going to
make
it
up. Go up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it helped me. And she helps me. And even as an adult, her music still helps me.
She's living her purpose, her destiny.
And that's all she's said in interviews.
Really?
If my music has helped you in any way, I did my job. Do it.
Yeah.
And I'm forever grateful to her and her family. They're lucky to have her.
That's awesome. Well, your family is also very blessed and lucky to have you. Because look at you. Look at where you've come from and where you are now. I think it's an evolution of its own. We're all like a phoenix. So we rise from those ashes, and you have risen from those ashes. So thank you. Because that not only touches me, but I'm sure it's going to touch many others. If there was anything that you would like to encourage for those that may be going through something similar or going through something worse than you, what would you tell them?
You'll never be helped unless you want to help yourself. If you're ready to get help, start within yourself.
And a message with the parents.
Stop being stubborn and just listen to your kids. If your kid, doesn't matter how old they are, they can be grown-ass adults. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe they lost a close one. Just listen. Give them a hug. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Don't think it doesn't matter, because age is nothing but a number, like Aaliyah said.
That's right.
Age is nothing but a number.
It really is.
We still feel what we feel. Our bodies were made to feel emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I was a Tin Man sometimes when I was growing up,
Yeah.
He didn't have a heart. He didn't feel nothing. But it's okay. No matter what you're going through out there, you're going to get through it.
Well, thank you, Art.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very, very much. That was, if you already completely listened to this, it's a tough one, but we all have to face it eventually. You have to face the music. And for all of those, who are battling through this, remember, get up and talk to somebody, because somebody's listening. It may not be who you're expecting it to be, but somebody will listen.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah, you will. And thank you for listening. Thank you, Art, for opening up, because I know for myself it's hard opening up, but I haven't been through anything like that. And so thank you for being strong to open up like that. So thank you so much. And
Thank you for having me here and letting me do
yeah,
it.
definitely. All right, guys. Well, we are out for Talk About It Tuesday. Please give a like, please subscribe, and please leave a comment. Really would love to hear it, whether it's on iTunes or SoundCloud. To leave comments, please leave a comment on this, and really, really appreciate it. And again, thank you for listening. And that completes today's Talk About It Tuesday episode on Nachos Cafe. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next Tuesday for the next TBIT episode. And remember, when you run into a mental wall of personal perspective, talk about it.